Good evening, you beautiful people. What an amazing turnout on a post-Christmas Sunday Eve. We're so honored and delighted that you're here. And I'm only going to say just a couple words and pass it on to more worthy lips here. We have Mr. Doug Orr, the former president of Warren Wilson, shall I say, the emeritus college. And here just to make sure that there are no bugs before he gets here. This gentleman has been part of the folk music scene for a long, long time, and we ran into each other in West Virginia many years ago, and when he came down here to Swannanoa and Black Mountain, it was a great joy to know that he was going to make music sing in our hills in all kinds of wonderful ways. He started the Swannanoa Gathering. He wrote an amazing book along with Fiona Ritchie, which he may tell you a little bit about if you don't have it yet. Wayfaring Strangers, you can get it at Black Mountain Books on Cherry Street. So investigate. He's going to put a little bit of context on this evening's show, which is a show that I will just tell you I really wanted to make sure happened while all these people were still alive and running across the stage. So this is a testimony to life and experimentation and going with the moment. And I'll bring on Doug Orr.
Right. Yes, Susie, in West Virginia, that was 1984, and Susie looks the same way she did then. What's going on? So wonderful that the White Horse would be bringing together this wonderful reunion. And at the outset, I would like to just pay tribute to Bob Hinkle and Don Talley and all those folks who work all year round. This is not an easy business. And I wish every night had this size crowd, but there have been some magical nights here. So let's have a round of applause, please, for the White Horse, Bob and Don. Thank you, folks. Yes, as we look back on a magical year here, we also look back at two legends of the music, and indeed their families. The work that many of us do in terms of carrying on the tradition of the music wouldn't be possible without Peter and Ralph, their families. We are standing on their shoulders, literally. So what an appropriate event for us to just stop amidst what has been, no doubt, a rather frenetic pace for many of you the last few days and weeks, and celebrate the music and celebrate these two indeed legends. Their tradition, and they are torchbearers. I think both the Gott and the Lewis family are really carrying the torch for a music and a tradition that goes back hundreds of years across seas, across continents, across families. And indeed, we did spend the last 10 years of our lives, my wife Darcy, art editor, and Fiona Ritchie, delving into this subject and the book to trace the origins of this very special music. And it is special. Many of you may know Ron Penn, who's the John Jacob Niles Professor of American Music at the University of Kentucky, teaching the Swannanoa Gathering. And Ron has commented that this is the music that America comes home to. And consequently, it's such a rich part of our culture, we must continue that tradition. It's also been a year of passages, I know for many of you in the room, as well as we think back to some very special people in music. One of those is Jean Ritchie, who at 92 years of age passed away June 1. But what a life and what a gift she was to all of us. And I commend to you her book, The Singing Family of the Cumberlands. In a way, it's a parallel to the singing family of the Gotts and the Lewises, it seems to me. But we use this quote from Jean from her book in the start of our book. The old songs were in our heads and hearts like breathing, and were handed down through the generations in a living tradition, as if they had been carried along in a migration stream from across the sea. And this from another legend who collected and enriched our lives, Bascom Lamar Lunsford. And in the Asheville Citizen newspaper, as it was called in 1948, this quote about a song catcher who literally collected over 3,000 fiddle tune song stories and square dance calls. He was quoted this way: "Yes, sir," he would say, after a fiddle tune had been finished, "your great-great-great-grandpappy might have played that same tune in the court of Queen Elizabeth. Not this Queen Elizabeth, but going way back. Then he would tell them how the songs and the square dance calls and the jigs and the reels and the hornpipes came from Scotland, from Ireland, from England, trying to show that though the words had changed from country to country and generation to generation, even from valley to valley and ridgeline to ridgeline, the essence of the music had changed not at all. And it formed a link, an unbroken link, back through time, tying them to the past, Bascom and Mar Lunsford. And finally, I would like to leave you with this quote, one of my favorites, because I think it describes so well these music makers we're about to hear tonight, and that is the poem, The Music Makers, from William O'Shaughnessy, the great and late Irish poet. We are the music makers, and we are the dreamers of dreams, wandering by lone sea breakers and sitting by desolate streams, world losers and world forsakers, upon whom the pale moon gleams. Yet, we are the movers and shakers of the world forever, it seems. Let's now move into our program, and I'm delighted to make an introduction, a fine musician in his own right from a wonderful family, and that would be our own Black Mountain, Fox Watson. Fox, please welcome.
Well, this is a celebration of friends and family. And I was looking at you through the curtain before I came out. It's 50 years ago. I wandered up to Asheville, to the Asheville Mountain Folk Festival. And I think I was about 16 at that time. And I said, whoa, there's a mighty good banjo player over there in Innsbruck Mall at the time. After you'd finished playing at the Civic Center, which was an old high school gymnasium with wooden floors, you'd go out to Innsbruck Mall or Westgate Mall and play for the rest of the night, which I, at that age, did. And I had the pleasure of seeing way off in the distance a fellow standing there with red suspenders, a plaid shirt, and a red handkerchief. And as you can tell, I wear suspenders and worn them ever since. It was Peter Gott. And through Peter, before he had a chance, and Polly, his beautiful wife, to say no, I adopted them and moved up to Madison County and lived in Shelton Laurel on first his farm until he really came to his senses and moved me to the next farm over. And at that time, I was living with Glenn and Oliver Hensley and their family and working every day for 50 cents an hour, putting up tobacco and picking tomatoes and whatever I could figure out to do. And it was through Peter and his very authentic influences that I learned how to play banjo and learned the brand of self-reliance, fierce self-reliance that allowed me to later on go about building my house and getting a bunch of friends to help me and building a guest house later on and having the confidence that I could actually go to college. It's with great pleasure I introduce Peter Gott. And I get to play the first tune with him too. You ready? Nickels will it take to see old Peter's body shake? Take a nickel and a God cut us shine.
Ruler skipped and ruler fell, and I saw something as scary as hell.
Yeah! Folks, get ready for a great evening of music because there's a lot of good pickers here, and we're glad Peter's here. And by the way, while this young lady's coming out, I used to walk her down to the bus stop to catch the school bus when she was 7 years old. And I would buy a candy cigar about once a week because it was about all I could afford. And it always had that paper wrapper around it. And one day when we were walking back from the bus stop, I'd gone down in the afternoon, I took it off my finger and I gave it to her, and she put it on her finger and she said, "Does that mean we're engaged, Fox?" No. He was taken.
People remember things. Well.
Thank you, folks.
People remember things in all kinds of different ways. And it's wonderful to have so many people to share these memories tonight. We're going to have Daddy play one of the many wonderful banjo tunes that he learned from people around here. And this particular one came from the playing of Gaither Carlton, who played some mighty fine tunes along with Doc Watson back in the day. And you may have heard a couple of different versions of this. I know Mike Seeger plays a version of this. David Holt plays a version of this. It's one of those wonderful old lonesome tunes. And I don't know if anybody's ever heard a cuckoo in the mountains. I've never heard a cuckoo in these mountains. I've heard them in the European hills. But this one is about the cuckoo bird. And Daddy, will you play him your version? My fault.
We sing the Sailor Boy now.
Yeah, we'll just go in that direction. We're going to get him to sing a ballad here, learned from our wonderful neighbors over in Sodom Laurel, North Carolina. And
Dillard Chandler.
I know some of you have seen the movie The Songcatcher with a few of those artists featured, and a few of you may have seen John Cohen's film The End of an Old Song, which is worth digging up if you haven't. which features several of these artists. One thing you may not know is the person that introduced John Cohen to all these folks is my dad back in the early 60s when he came here, and he spent his time making friends with the folks who had instruments hidden in various corners of their homes and hanging on the walls and coaxing them to get them out again. And a few didn't need a whole lot of coaxing. A few have been singing ballads for ages. So this one comes from a particular particular gentleman in Sodom Laurel. And Daddy does a mighty fine job of this. Tom Ashley?
Dillard Chandler.
Dillard Chandler. Tom Ashley, what was that about? That was about the cuckoo, wasn't it? All right, sing 'em Dillard's song.
The sailor? It's a sailor being tired.
Let me give you a note here. We're going to sing it here.
It's a sailor being tired. Well, he hung down his head. It's a sailor being tired. Well, he hung down his head. Well, he asked the little maid to show him the bed. Yes, she showed him the bed like a maid ought to do. Yes, she showed him the bed like a maid ought to do. Well, he said, my little honey, won't you come to bed too? It's the maid being young, not thinking any harm. It's the maid being young, not thinking any harm. Well, she crawled in the bed and she rolled up in his arms. It's what I done there, well, I wouldn't tell here. It's what I done there, well, I wouldn't tell here. But I wish that night could have been a long year. It's 6 months past and 8 rolled by. It's 6 months past and 8 rolled by. Well, her shoes wouldn't button and her apron wouldn't tie. If it is a boy child, name it after me. Put a pistol in its pocket, Lord, and send it to the sea. Put a pistol in its pocket, Lord, and dress it in blue. Tell him to hug the women like his papa used to do. If it is a girl child, hire her a nurse. Put slippers on her feet, put money in her purse. Set it on your knee, Lord, comb its curly head. Lord, you can remember me when I am dead.
Speaking of Sodom ballads, I think Sheila K. Adams is somewhere in the audience tonight. Can you join us for a minute?
Sheila K.
Sheila K. Adams, recipient of last year's National Heritage Award. and an amazing ballad singer, storyteller, songwriter, tale spinner, all kinds of wonderful things. Sheila's mother was my second grade teacher, and that was a scream.
Yep. She said Susie was one of the top 5 smartest children that she ever taught in the second grade, and my mother taught for 147 years. Second grade.
47. Where'd you learn to count?
Susie, is it okay if I say something about Pete?
Please.
When I was a little girl in the early 60s, I was born in 1953, and there was, in this little community of Sodom, you know, they say Sodom Laurel now, but back in the day it was just Sodom. I guess Sodom rankled a few folks, and they decided to put Laurel on the end of it, which makes no sense whatsoever. But I remember Daddy came home, and we used to spend a lot of time down at this little store that was right in the middle of that community, and he said, there's a feller that has moved in here that plays the banjo, and he dances, and he's gonna come over here to Sodom, and down at Slick Gunter's house, he's gonna have a frolic. And the whole community of Sodom turned out, and they moved all of Slick and Pansy's furniture out in the yard. And we had a hellacious square dance. Now, I grew up, Morris Norton taught me how to flatfoot or buck dance, as he called it. But it was all Pete Gott's influence that got that community gelled back together and dancing and singing the love songs out again and playing music there in that little community. So I owe all of this tradition that got passed down to me to a great extent to this man sitting on the stage tonight, Peter Gott. And Daddy always considered Pete one of his good friends, and that was good enough for me. And he had a lot of energy, and he taught me how to jump up in the air and click my heels together to the side, which I ain't gonna do for you now because I'm a little bit older than I was in 1962
We're
or
gonna
3.
get him to do it later on tonight.
But I owe Pete a huge debt of gratitude. Thank you, Pete, for all you did for my little community over there in Sodom.
Thanks, Sheila.
Well, that was quite amazing. Thank you for sharing that, Sheila. We're going to sing a song for you that came from various different sources. It's an old ballad. It's one of the child ballads, if anybody has that collection. And it was also sung by our neighbor down the road, George Landers, who played the banjo, and Daddy learned a lot of tunes from him. He learned this particular ballad from George, and Sheila knows a slightly different version of it. Daddy didn't want to sing it tonight because it's too sad, but what can you do? Most of the songs are about murder or deception or some kind of deadly loss, so
Well, I
this is no
particularly
exception.
like this one because the woman makes it out at the end unscathed.
There you go. So we're going to do an impromptu version of this that's 3 different varieties strung together, and we have no idea how it will come out, so you are the first to hear it. Start out in the key of C, but probably really. You want to sing the first verse, Daddy?
What song is it?
Scotland Man?
Come in, my old true love, and stay out a night with me. I have a bed and a very fine bed. I will give it up to thee. I will give it up to thee. I can't come in, or I ain't coming in to stay out a night with thee. Scotland, and tonight she weeps for me, and tonight she weeps for me. It's out she drew her little penknife, she stabbed him to the heart. She cried out in a loud, loud voice, there's a dead man in my house. There's a dead man in my house. She picked him up by the middle, very small. She picked him up by his feet. She threw him over in a deep, wide well, just about 18 feet, just about 18 feet. She was sitting in her parlor door, thinking on what she had done. She saw a pretty little bird all among the leaves so green, green, all among the leaves so green. Come here, my pretty little bird, and settle on my thumb. I have a cage, and a very fine cage. I will give it up to thee. I will give it up to thee. I can't come there, nor I ain't coming there to settle on your thumb. I'm afraid you'd rob me of my tender little heart, just like the Scotland man, just like the Scotland man. If I had my bow and arrow, and my string, I'd shoot you right through the tender little heart, just like the Scotland man, like the Scotland man. If you had your bow and arrow, and your string, I'd fly away to the heavens so high, I'd never be seen anymore, I'd never be seen anymore.
Well, that's great. You got through the whole thing. So there's not a whole lot left that we can say because Scotland Man's dead. But I know Sheila has.
I don't think he needed no help on that one. So.
Sheila has a verse or two that might not have gotten in there.
I do. There's back after. It's kind of interesting because she stabs him through the heart, and then, very surprised, she cries out in a very loud voice, there's a dead man in my house. And in the version that I learned, this verse comes in. Oh, she cried out to a servant girl, this thing I'll promise thee, if you'll help me on this dark night, my gown I'll give to thee. Thee, my gown I'll give to thee. She took a hold of his long yeller hair, and the other took up his feet, and they throwed him into the old dry well, which was so cold and deep, which was so cold and deep. And my favorite verse, Lay there, my own false love. Lay there, my own false love, till the flesh rots off in your frame. And the little old wife in the old Scotland shall mourn for your return. Shall mourn for your return.
That was a treat. I don't know why that was so funny, but I'm glad it was. We're going to switch gears, but we're going to keep singing about Scotsmen here. We're going to go from the morbid to the ridiculous here and get Daddy to sing a song that he's sung for many years. And where did this one come, Daddy? Come from?
Mike Cross.
Yeah, this is one of those jokes that's been around for a long, long time, and there's a wonderful gentleman who's written a whole lot of great songs, and he likes to take jokes and make them into something memorable. So this comes from Mike Cross, who is from a little farther east here in the state. Okay, so you're going to sing the Scotsman, right? So we've got another song about a Scotsman here. We're going to sing it in this key here.
A Scotsman clad in kilts left the bar one evening fair. One could tell by how he walked he'd drunk more than his share. He staggered on until he could no longer keep his feet. He lay down beside the street to sleep beside the street. Later on, two young and lovely girls just happened by. One says to the other with a twinkle in her eye, "See yon sleeping Scotsman, so strong and handsome built. I wonder if it's true what they don't wear beneath the kilt." They crept up to the sleeping Scotsman, quiet as could be, lifted up his kilt above the waist so they could see. And there, behold, for them to view, beneath his Scottish skirt, was nothing but what God had graced him with upon his birth. They marveled for a moment, then one said, "We best be gone, but let's leave a present for our friend before we move along." So as a gift they left a blue silk ribbon tied into a bow around the bonny star of the Casca kilt lifting show. The Scotsman woke to nature's call and stumbled toward the trees. Behind a bush he lifts his kilt and he gawks at what he sees. Then in a startled voice he said to what's before his eyes, "Me lad, I don't know where you've been, but I see you've won first prize."
John Warner to thank for that, and his sister is sitting in the audience tonight, Callie Warner. She's a wonderful singer in her own right. If you ever get a chance to come out and listen to Callie, she's somewhere out there. All right, how about a little bit of a talking blues here, Daddy? And this one you said you learned from Roy McDevitt, who's another one of our Madison County friends.
Well, the sun comes up and the sun goes down. The hands on the clock keep going around. I just get up and it's time to lay down. Life gets tedious, don't it? The water in the well's getting lower and lower. I ain't took a bath for 6 months or more, but I've heard it said, and it's true, I'm sure, that too much bathing will weaken you. I open the door and the flies swarm in. Close the door and I'm sweating again. Move too fast and crack my shin. Just one darn thing after another. There's a mouse house a chawing at the pantry door. He's been at it for a month or more. When he gets through, he'll sure be sore, 'cause there ain't a darn thing in there. Hound dog howling so forlorn, the laziest dog that ever was born. He's howling 'cause he's sitting on a thorn and he's too tired to get up. The old brown mule, he must be sick. I jabbed him in the rump with a pin on his stick. He humped his back, but he wouldn't kick. Something cockeyed somewhere. Grief and misery, pains and woes, debts and taxes, and so it goes. And I think I'm getting a cold of the nose. Life gets tedious, don't it?
There's another gentleman in the audience that we're really honored to have with us tonight. And this man has done a lot for old-time music in this area. And we met him a long, long, long time ago. As I recall, the first time he came to visit us, Daddy made him shovel a whole manure pile up into the garden. And I think that took 4 days. I'm surprised he ever came back. But anyway, this gentleman helped to get the, he actually got the Appalachian Studies program going at Warren Wilson back in, was it late 70s or was it the 80s? He'll tell us right here. 75, and has done a lot of work with Doc Watson over the years and passed a lot of inspiration on to a lot of younger artists. So I'd like to bring David Holt out here to do a song called The Arkansas Traveler.
Thanks, Susie. Nice singing there. Man, this guy in the day was the most energetic person you ever saw in your life. As Sheila mentioned, he could jump up and click his heels, and he would do that repeatedly, I might add. When I went up to see him that first time in 1969, I don't think he put me to work, but when I moved back here, by this time they had built their own log cabin. Peter had built it, and it was so precise and so beautiful. The door latches were made of split oak, and it was just gorgeous. Everything was perfect. And so Peter had a lot of work to do, and I wanted to come up and learn banjo tunes, and he said, well, we got to do this work, which Susie was just talking about. And every time I would come up there, I'd have to work for a couple of hours before he would take out the banjo. Peter, you used to do the old Arkansas Traveler there, and you did both parts by yourself. I'll be your straight man today, okay? Let's play. So get in the beat there. Say, farmer, where does this road go to?
Don't go nowhere, it stays right here.
Well, can I take this to Asheville?
No, you didn't take it there, they got one there already.
Say, farmer, what's that river like over yonder?
Water all the way to the bottom.
No, I mean, is it fordable?
Yeah, my ducks forded it this morning.
No, I mean, how deep is it?
Well, it came up to about here on the ducks.
You got any taxidermists around here?
What's a taxidermist?
It's one of them fellers that mounts animals.
Yeah, there's a lot of them fellers around here.
Now, where's the nearest place of business?
We just go down yonder in the woods.
Say, farmer, how'd your taters turn out?
They never turned out at all. The old sow rooted them out.
What size were they?
Well, some are the size of golf balls and some are the size of marbles. And then there's a lot of little ones.
Say, Farmer, your wife's dress is mighty short.
That's all right. It'll be long enough before she gets another one.
Who lives here anyway?
Just me and John.
Well, where's John?
He went hunting.
Ain't he a fear to God, hunting on Sundays?
Yep, he takes his gun with him everywhere he goes.
Say, Farmer, your roof leaks mighty bad. Why don't you mend it?
It's raining too hard.
Oh, why don't you mend it when it ain't raining?
When it don't rain, it don't leak.
Don't you know the second half of that tune, Farmer? Yeah, you do. Let's play it.
Yeah, David Holt, amazing fellow. We are gonna, you know what? I'll skip that one. We're gonna call on the next generation here. This is my son Luke. I'm gonna have him sit down and play a little tune called Cumberland Gap here. Here, you sit here.
Oh, okay.
This is the chair.
What you playing, Lou?
What's that?
Cumberland Gap? You both got your papers on? You know
What
what?
was that?
Let me get this here, buddy. We're gonna get you up into G here. There we go. All right. Take it away.
Oh, you want me to start? I'm sorry.
Sure.
I've got a gal
One
in
of
the
those thumb
Cumberland
strings.
Gap. She's got a baby that
There we
calls
go.
me Pap. Cumberland Gap, we're all going down to the Cumberland Gap. Me and my wife and 16 kids walked all the way to the Cumberland Gap. Cumberland Gap, Cumberland Gap. We walked all the way to the Cumberland Gap. Cumberland Gap's a hell of a place. Can't get no water for to wash your face. Cumberland Gap is 16 miles to the Cumberland Gap.
All right. Well, Daddy, I know you haven't played any of George Lander's tunes here tonight, so
What's that?
can I get you to play a little bit of Pretty Little Girl with the Blue Dress on and the Rabbit Song?
He's an A.
Is it bedtime yet?
It is for a while to speak. All right, we're going to take just a minute to rearrange microphones, and we're going to do something we haven't done in about 30 years. We're good at trying new stuff on people, new old stuff. We're going to bring out my mother and my brother and a wonderful supporting bassist, Corey Warren, here. And we're going to have a really brief recreation of the Cowbell Hollow String Band.
Is it bedtime yet?
Hey, Daddy, tell a joke.
Yeah, tell a good joke.
Tell a joke. I don't think we can do this.
I don't know any jokes. I just know true stories.
This is what we call lightning fast instrument change.
All right. You want to hit it?
What makes you sleep so sound? Let 'em know are raging, gonna tear your still house down.
Wake up, darling Corey. What hanging around your town? Them regular officers are coming. submachine. Turbo strapped around her body, and her banjo on her knee. Oh, pick it, Tim. Go away, darling Corey. Quit hanging around my bed. Be distracted. Oh, liquor has killed me most dead. Go away, darling Corey. Go do the best you can. I'll be another woman. You can get you another man. Dig a hole in the meadow. Dig a hole in the cold, cold ground. Dig a hole in the meadow. Gonna lay darling Corey down. Can't you hear the bluebirds singing? Don't you hear that mournful sound? They're preaching Corey's funeral in that lonesome graveyard ground.
All right. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Mama. She didn't get out of the kitchen a whole lot, so she had to take up the bass, but she's just had carpal tunnel operation just 2 days ago. So this was a wonderful chance to have the namesake of that song playing bass. We're going to do something else we haven't done in a whole lot of years, and bring out a couple of young fellas that we used to pal around with, Tim and I, when we were between the ages of 10 and 14, thanks to our dads who did a lot of miles and kept us out of trouble, so to speak. And here, 40 years later, we find ourselves in the same room again, doing the same thing we did 40 years ago. Things don't change a whole lot. So we're going to bring out, in addition to Marty Lewis, who was out for guesting on that last number, Mr. Don Lewis. We're going to sing a little bit of
Thank you so much.
a song we haven't done in 40 years. And we're going to keep Corey Warren on with us here because he's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Might have to figure out the microphones just a little bit here.
Yep. Thank you, Susie. What a treat. We should appreciate everybody. Let's see. A good Scott Lewis story for you. It's my birthday in about 3 days, and it's a milestone, I guess you said. But when I was about 6 years old, I'd been playing mandolin for a couple of years, and met this family named the Gotts, and got to spend time at their house and know them really well. And we ended up with our dad, Ralph Lewis, going to the Smithsonian Institute in 1975? 77. Oops. With Kaz Wallen and Morris Norton and the Gott family and the Lewis family. And they spelled my name wrong. I still can't get that. Why me? But anyway, that was a very special evening, as you can imagine. And Morris, as he called it, a mouth bow. Most people call it a tune bow. Yeah. He donated. You can go to the Smithsonian this day, and it's there. So, okay, Susie,
Still got a little dry tobacco juice on it, right?
Are y'all having fun so far?
Yeah! You want to kick this one off? Did I play?
Yeah. This is one that the Offspring band used to.
We're going to do a little bit of tuning and play another little tune that we did back in the 70s.
All right, this is a train song that has many, many different versions. And I think we're going to get the star of the second half of the show here to amble on out. Just for a little bit of preview. We're going to do this one more tune, and then we're going to take a short pause and give you a chance to wet your whistle. And so, Bob or Don, if you have a word or two you'd like to say to folks before Mr. Star number 2 comes ambling out, now's your moment.
Yeah, good evening. I'm Don Talley, the co-manager here at White Horse Black Mountain, and on behalf of the staff and management, we want to welcome you. I hope you realize how historic this evening is. This is an evening to remember. This is an evening that you won't experience again in your lifetime. So we're glad you're here to be part of it. This is our heritage here in the mountains. The ballads that you heard Peter doing, you would have heard the same way 200 years ago when the Scots-Irish that Doug spoke of arrived. And you're seeing the progression of that music up until today. And this music is still played throughout the mountains, on porches, patios, kitchen floors, down at the stores, at the depots. This is part of a living heritage. This isn't a dead music. It's alive and growing. All right, the Gott Lewis Family Bands.
She never ran before. Oh me, oh my, you can hear the whistle blow 100 miles. Heard the hobo say to the bum, did any cornbread save me some? But I've tried 100 miles away from home. Oh me, oh my, you can hear the whistle blow 100 miles.
Susie Gott, the Gott family, Ralph Lewis. We will be right back in a short.
Okay.